Oh shit, here we go again.
I know it's been a while, but welcome back to A Rogue Theory, where we explore the origins, influences, and playability of your favorite archetypes. Remember to like and subscribe to bring back Beatrice back to 3 the next time you play, maybe. Thanks to my Patreon suggesting the archetypes and my Discord community for voting on them every month, today we are covering Dante's adventure within the Burning Abyss.
Today we are not the boys, we are the men of culture.
We are the men!
While it could be argued that the Burning Abyss is comprised of thousands of monsters, today's focus is on the 8th Circle of Hell and the story of Dante, which has 2 spells, 2 traps, 12 main deck monsters, 1 link, 1 synchro, 1 fusion, and 2 XYZ monsters. Now for those of you who are unaware, the Burning Abyss is a reference to the infamous epic known as the Divine Comedy. While I'm sure almost everyone has a basic understanding of the story due to the famous part known as Dante's Inferno, BA extends past the traditional story and attempts to tell the entire journey of Dante's travels through the 3 divine realms, albeit one with quite a few gaps that, like most of literature, ignore the fact that the author was probably the first simp. The only important parts you need to know is that Dante finds himself in hell due to having gotten lost on the path of righteousness and good, and Beatrice is his lost love who resides in heaven. Alright, with that setup out of the way, Dante finds himself in hell, but before he becomes the rockinest mill 3 demons and chill badass that we all know and love, he has to grow and level up.
Starting quest.
Thankfully for him, however, Beatrice sends the greatest rocker boy to ever grace the afterlife.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
With Virgil's help, Dante is guided through the realms of hell, facing temptations and challenges alike. Throughout his journey, he encounters many lost and damned souls. One tells him of how despite the saints of heaven having claim to his soul, the angels of hell have superior dominion to the damned than those of the celestial divinity. But it is on the 8th layer of hell that our story is truly told. Dante and Virgil, having traveled the last 7 layers, have one more to go before reaching the Dark Lord of Hell, who can carry them both back to purgatory so Dante can ascend and be with his beloved Beatrice. While on the 8th Circle of Hell, Dante and Virgil enlist the help of demons across the Fire Lakes. But the demons and their leader, Malakota, betray Dante and Virgil, attacking them in full force. Thankfully, however, the two manage to escape as they fight for their souls, and Dante finally manages to become the true demon slayer we all know and love. From here on, Dante and Virgil escape hell, travel through purgatory, and meet up with Beatrice, who takes Dante up to heaven with her, leaving behind Virgil to keep rocking out throughout the ages. Now, while that covers all the cards currently released and their relationships among each other, there is space for more support cards later on, seeing as the demons that guard the 8th Circle of Hell are 13 in total, and we only have 12 released so far. We also have no representation of Dante outside of the trap card before he begins his journey off the beaten path and sees the error of his past, be it in a non-XYZ form or dark attribute version. While there's other examples I could point to, I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't guess right unless Konami recognizes me and lets me help develop an archetype for them, or puts me into the sponsorship loop. Now, while I personally doubt that will happen anytime soon with my current subscriber count, if HoloLive members can become a part of the Vanguard trading card game, I wouldn't be opposed to becoming the newest rival for the Evil Twin archetype. Jokes aside, Konami's choice to use the side story of Cherubini as a support card that explains why BA monsters won't die when exposed outside of the Burning Abyss or the domain of Hell is simply divine.
But therein lies the game. I fear to watch, yet I cannot turn away!
Okay, to save you and myself some time, all cards in the archetype can special summon themselves from the hand, provided you have no set spells and traps on the field. All BA monsters destroy themselves automatically if there's a non-BA on the field, and they all come with a secondary effect when they hit the graveyard. However, there are minor exceptions for Rubik and Malakota. Now, before you go putting these cards into many of your decks as engines, or go on to thinking that this is the best deck to ever exist, yes, better than Pendulum, they can only use one of their effects per turn, and they are hard limited to once per turn, so additional copies won't do anything. With that out of the way, Seer the Burning Abyss. While most famously known as one of the major 3 main deck BA monsters, its primary purpose is to serve as recursion for the archetypal boss monsters, Dante and Virgil, who either mill, detach, or discard Seer to revive the other copy in the graveyard. While this often doesn't happen in a game or match setting due to the lack of Burning Abyss tuners, the possibility reflects the survivability of this archetype and is meant to showcase the bond of the two as they try to escape hell together. Graph of the Burning Abyss is your mandatory 3 of extender, as it provides you access to any and all your Burning Abyss monsters if you aren't able to mill them or open them in your hand. While it's extremely strong and gives you extra access to Seer, the deck oftentimes struggles despite the free extender, as most combos and cards within the Burning Abyss require 2 level 3 monsters to combo efficiently, and 1 extra extender isn't usually enough to go full combo without another Burning Abyss monster in hand. Skarm of the Burning Abyss is an end phase searcher that, depending on your build, can either be used to grab you a utility card to deal with your opponent, or a copy of Seer or Graph to combo again on your follow-up turn. While many players only vie for 1 to 2 copies of this card and tend to follow similar ratios for all Burning Abyss monsters, stating that they don't want to open multiple copies of any of the cards in their hand,
You didn't want to open multiple of the same name.
anyone who makes these statements doesn't understand the math behind Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck building.
Yeah, I can prove it mathematically. Actually, let me grab my whiteboard. This has been a long time coming anyway.
Alright, all you guys need to do is fucking hold. Fucking hold. We're going to the moon, boys. We're going to the fucking moon.
I thought this was supposed to be a Yu-Gi-Oh video.
Alright, this is the formula used to take into account opening any of the cards that you want from your deck into your opening hand, be it Ash Blossom, Nibiru, or Skarm the Burning Abyss. It might be frustrating to draw 2 copies of the same card in your opening hand. If we look at the math, that occurs about anywhere between 1 to 4% of the time. Now, while it might seem like you brick less by doing that, you actually reduce your chances of opening your playable and hopefully important cards by about 10% of the time. Meaning that playing 2 ofs that aren't searchable engine pieces, that are necessary for your starting plays, that allow you to summon the greatest of men, means you are losing out on a net 9% consistency. Farfa of the Burning Abyss is your desired BA monster to mill so that you can banish your opponent's monster when you go second, or you can send it to the graveyard for interruption when you go first with Beatrice. While it provides you decent spot removal, the fact that these cards return during the end phase makes it a rather weak effect, as it isn't true removal when you lack the ability to snowball with your temporary advantage. Libic of the Burning Abyss. While most decks tend to have a bad habit of not running more than 1 copy of Libic for some reason, he has tremendous value in BA lists that are running a proper ratio of total BA names. While summoning a card from the hand might not seem great, he provides the deck the ability to get more resources on the board from your hand without restricting the card's utility effect, allowing you to extend with Seer, Graph, or whatever you could want. Alec of the Burning Abyss. While typically a 1-of in the deck, she provides the ability to negate a monster until the end of the turn. While most decks would love the chance to have something similar, she is limited by the fact that the archetype has a better card like Farfa and is hard limited by being once per turn. Rubik of the Burning Abyss has no secondary graveyard effect for some reason, but has the ability to synchro summon because he's a tuner. Barbar of the Burning Abyss allows you to cowboy for game, but not get banned doing so because BA doesn't slow play.
I didn't stall for time. Anyone with a brain would realize it was a joke.
Calcab of the Burning Abyss. While bouncing a potential back row is cool, the fact that the card has to be set is probably the worst design choice I've ever seen. I mean, if it could destroy at least a card, it would be playable, but as it stands, it's really a tech call and in my opinion isn't worth playing at the current meta. Kanega of the Burning Abyss. I'll be honest, this card sucks, since its goal is to send good and evil within the Burning Abyss to search you any BA monster from your deck. While that sounds amazing, the spell card needs to have been there for a turn to be usable. Thanks to this, I wouldn't recommend playing it outside of it being another Burning Abyss name to special summon from your hand. Drahig of the Burning Abyss. Like many players, I don't exactly know why this card exists. Perhaps if it had the ability to stack a card on top of your deck before you mill with Dante, or if you could pile his effect on top of the chain when you pitch for cost with Pilgrim, I could see running this card. However, as it stands, Drahig's only interaction is to be placed in the trap version of the deck and is to be used to stack the deck to take full advantage of Absolute King Backjack to place Firelakes or Traveler onto the field for interruption or recovery on your opponent's turn. While theoretically great, it suffers from needing to mill Backjack in the first place. Malakota, Netherlord of the Burning Abyss, is the highest rarity BA monster printed in the all-exclusive Ghost Rare foiling. Yet despite its high rarity, it isn't the strongest monster within the deck and has failed to ever see a competitive top. While this is primarily due to the deck's inability to constantly acquire the hand advantage necessary to use this card and the BA spells or traps, it's oddly a difficult monster to out solely on its own, since it can pitch cards like Farfa or Alec to take advantage of disruption that isn't obviously apparent to your opponent. Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss, is the greatest card ever printed. Fuck Shadowless Base Set Charizard, fuck Alpha Black Lotus, fuck Tournament BLS, fuck the stock market, F Scotts Fitzgerald, anything that isn't Dante or Tyler the Great isn't great enough for me. because even when I die, I will still be detaching and milling 3 with the boys in the afterlife. Because BA, best deck, baby! Jokes aside, Dante is the key strategy to this archetype, as his effect to mill cards is cost to increase his attack value, and he can add back any BA card to your hand when he hits the graveyard. If it wasn't obvious, you run 2 to 3 copies of this card, or
You're dead to me.
Beatrice, Lady of Eternal, is a quick effect Foolish Burial that can alternatively be summoned by sending 1 BA monster from your hand to the graveyard while you control Dante on the field. Thanks to this, the deck has the ability to access Interruption on your opponent's turn by sending any BA monster that you could want from your deck to the graveyard. Now, while her ability to Foolish Burial cards doesn't come from any story influence like Dante's Kill 3 Demons and Chill, she does have the ability to summon out other BA monsters from the extra deck when she dies. This is meant to represent that not only is she a driving force that motivates Dante to escape hell with his guide Virgil, but it could also be argued that she's the reason why he started down the wrong path in the first place. Virgil, Rockstar of the Burning Abyss. While Dante might be the greatest character to ever be told in card form, Virgil takes the cake as the rockinest rocker boy to ever grace the afterlife, shuffling the forces of evil and hell away as he rocks upon his electric lute. Though he's sometimes difficult to summon to the field due to a lack of BA tuners, he can easily be accessed by Beatrice's secondary effect upon destruction, and despite appearances of being a utility-based card, when he takes up the stage, the game's bound to be over. Dante, Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss, will most likely never be summoned traditionally, as he requires 3 BA monsters with different names and an additional card to allow the fusion summon. If perhaps the archetypal spell card could banish BA monsters to fulfill his summoning conditions, he would be much more plausible as a boss monster. Instead, the only way to summon him is when Beatrice gets destroyed. While this is plausible and often happens, the fact that Beatrice is currently limited means that running Pilgrim can sometimes backfire on you, as some decks have other means of spot removal. Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. Despite name and intended purpose, he doesn't benefit pure BA in any capacity besides a link-up ladder. While he can prevent the destruction of monsters he points to, the biggest limiting factor is the fact that BA monsters are once per turn, or they lack hand resources to make up for this disadvantage. So while being able to mix and match BA monsters might sound effective, personally I think that this is a semi-protective Foolish Burial is rarely worth the space unless it's being used to benefit another deck. Good and Evil in the Burning Abyss is generally not worth playing, as Malakota isn't the best boss monster unless you want to flex that you own a ghost rare. While easy to use or search thanks to pre-preparation of rights, its graveyard effect is what holds it back from being used in everything, as waiting a turn to ditch and search a card makes it unrealistically weak. The Terminus of the Burning Abyss is, well, garbage. It requires the deck built on milling to use cards on the field or in the hand, and while it comes with a secondary effect to boost the attack and defense values, if I have to wait a turn to use said effect, it might as well be replaced with a regular old polymerization. Hell, even greater polymerization would provide more protection than this card. Firelink of the Burning Abyss provides the deck an option for those who would rather reject combo and return to Monkey. While not strictly better or worse than Beatrice Pass, I don't see any reason to run this card unless you plan to recycle this with Dante instead of Seer. The Traveler of the Burning Abyss has the potential to be extremely strong, since you can effectively revive 5 monsters, and thanks to Cherubini, you'll be able to protect them before you link climb into stronger options. But perhaps more importantly, it can be used to recover completely from 1 blowout turn and come back by linking away your opponent's boss monster into the underworld goddess Haruhi. Okay, now that we know all the cards that are currently released for the archetype, the effects of each card, and the story of Dante's travel within the Burning Abyss, we can finally speak to the competitive viability of this archetype. BA will never die despite the restrictions put upon Seer and the gang as they continue to top, be it in a pure or mixed variant, as nothing can ever stop Dante from breaking through the chains of meta hell. For combos today, I only have one that I think is worth showing as a feature of pure BA. Tour Guide and Graph can be used to get free access to an IP Masquerena with Beatrice. While this doesn't seem like much, the fact is I've only used 1 card to provide myself access to possibly 2 pieces of disruption and easy recursion and recycling of Seer and Dante. Not only that, but Beatrice also gives me the ability to access a possible chain block after the resolution of IP's Link Summon. Here's the list that I'm currently playing around with. While this list is meant to serve as a pure BA list focused on summoning Beatrice in passing, you have an abundant amount of hand traps to control the flow of the game turn 1 or turn 2. While not always the strongest considering combos that simply use BAs as an engine, this list oddly doesn't trade in consistency but the power ceiling by favoring control and the power of Zeus to close the gap of advantage during the mid to late game. While Dante can be summoned or used by many decks like Phantom Knights or Virtual World, no one can truly replace the sheer power that Hell commands with its undying fans of rock and roll.
Hey, sorry this video is so late. School's been kicking my ass really bad. Spellbook won the poll for February this month on my Discord channel. Link is in the description, so expect that video out before anything else. Oh, and sorry for disappearing for about a month. I want to thank my Patreon supporters for sticking with me and my subscribers. So I hope you can forgive me for turning into a Michael Reeves and disappearing for about a month. Anyways, thank you guys so much. This is Rogue Theory, passing turn.
Again, as soon as it's dreamy night.